Historically, competition policy evolved through three consecutive paradigmatic stages. It all started as a big political project, be it fight against bigness in the United States or market integration in Europe. It then evolved, matured into a set of predictable, reliable, consistent but formalistic set of law-oriented theories, which have been overturned then by the more economic approach. So politics, law, economics. There are many reasons to believe, however, that we are entering into the fourth stage of the evolution, which I call in my paper postmodern competition policy. Postmodern competition policy has not been comprehended yet because we are still in the process of entering into it. It was triggered by a set of rather independent events, after which we all realized that competition policy will never be the same again. Those events started from 2008 financial crisis, when the omnipotence of economic wisdom to comprehend, analyze, predict and remedy competition-related problems has been significantly challenged. The second important factor is the exponential growth of planned, state-supported, hybrid, quasi-market economies. The third one is the existential crisis of the European Union, epitomized in the phenomenon of Brexit. The fourth one is radicalization of political elites and generally radicalization of society, the entrance into the post-truth world. And we see how the vocabulary of cooperation and development has been transformed into the vocabulary, into the rhetoric of trade wars. The fifth one is the current pandemic, and the sixth one is the exponential growth of big tech companies. In this context, I recollect a recent contribution by Eleanor Fox, who has eloquently noticed that US has GAFAM, Google, Apple, Microsoft, Amazon, Facebook. China has BAT, Baidu, Alibaba, Tencent, and Europe has industrial policy. We hear all the time by many politicians and stakeholders that Europe has to be made great again. That Europe is very good in terms of developing ideas, but is not that good in terms of commercializing those ideas. And something has to be done, and the European Union probably has also used competition policy in its industrial policy considerations, so to say. So the paper is threefold in this perspective. The objective, it has three interrelated objectives. I primarily want to understand what is going on with this postmodern competition policy, to try to describe its different elements, articulate them, and look what is its relationship with the past. Secondly, I want to look at the legal theory, but not at any esoteric niche legal philosophy. I will be using two cornerstones of contemporary Anglo-American jurisprudence, H.L.A. Hart and Ronald Dworkin, and I will look how they explore the problem of legal indeterminacy and what is the role of legal interpretation. In other words, if we see a problematic case, a hard case, where the chances are 50-50, if we imagine that parties swap their teams of legal and economic experts, it's very likely that the outcomes could be different as well. Is it a problem? Is it a pathological feature? Or it's part of normality, it's part of this relative indeterminacy of law? And what are the implications for competition policy adjudication process? So I will be describing the mechanics of decision-making process in the second part of the paper. And in the last part, I will be less descriptive, will be a little bit more normative. I will try to understand what is the relationship between industrial policy and competition policy in this postmodern stage. And my conclusion, to the surprise of myself actually, is that there is an Achilles heel of competition policy in Europe, which is not present in the US and China, and a deeper analysis of this Achilles heel has to be undertaken. I will be more nuanced during my presentation. This is just a short preview, and obviously I will be most nuanced in the paper itself. The conference is scheduled for the 25th, 26th and 27th of June. I will be presenting on the 27th. I look forward to your questions, and I would be happy to elaborate these ideas further during our discussions.